And we conclude week one on Monday Night Football with a pretty highly anticipated matchup. Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos. Yes, Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos at the Seattle Seahawks in the 12s. And after a decade in Seattle, Russell Wilson will play as the enemy. I'm Andy E2G founder, joining you live from the Airport Grill here in New Bedford. Monday Night Football at the Airport Grill. Special football menu with $10 pizzas, which includes buffalo chicken, cheeseburger, meat lovers, bacon and cheese pizzas, and half off wings for buffalo, gold rush, sweet chili, garlic parm, lemon pepper, mango habanero, Jamaican jerk, Cajun, Korean barbecue, and teriyaki. So going pretty deep here with the food available and $5 Bud Light pitchers, as you can see on the bottom. And if you make some predictions right tonight, E2G will pick up your pitcher. So be ready for that. So I'm your host, that E2G founder, getting ready for this one as we close out week one. And we'll start out with the week one madness. Some games that were really good that maybe weren't supposed to be. The Giants at Titans. Yesterday on the Sunday morning show, myself, Murph, and Sarah all picked the Titans big time in the game. My tongue's still burning from buffalo chicken. All right, that was necessary. So, Brian Daboll wins his first game as Giants head coach. They go for two at the end of the game, something the opposing coach, Mike Vrabel, would do in a game to just try to end it at that point. Saquon Barkley gets in. A lot of emotion showed by the sideline. That's for sure. So the Giants were enjoying their time with Dayball. They fought back, got the win. The field goal was missed at the end of the game by Bullock, and on we go. Uh, Pittsburgh in an absolute classic with Cincinnati. Cincinnati scores with 2 seconds left. Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase, the LSU connection, and they have the extra point blocked by Minka Fitzpatrick, who also had a pick six in the game. The Bengals miss in overtime. The Steelers miss in overtime. The Bengals punt in overtime. Don't really kill the play clock. And next thing you know, the Steelers hit a good pass and, kick the field goal to win it. So, one reason, let me know if you can hear me. Kim, let me know if you can hear me. I just saw you check in. And I know you're not a Russell Wilson fan, so I know it's going to be fun for you tonight. Russ cooks at a new restaurant. The off-season trade, we saw it. Russell Wilson to Denver for draft picks. Seattle going with Geno Smith tonight. They got Drew Lock back in the trade, along with Shelby Harris and Noah Fant, who is the tight end they got in the first round a few years ago. So, a little bit of a new look, I guess you can say, for the Denver Broncos with Russell Wilson, as they've been looking for a quarterback, you'd probably say since Jake Plummer. Peyton Manning. But, Paxton Lynch didn't work out. Drew Lock, they ended up trading him in this trade. He didn't really work out. Brett Rippon was given an opportunity. They've been trying to find somebody. So Russell Wilson comes in. He gets a 5-year contract. And they're showing him throwing on the pregame show right now. And the Seattle fans are very hungry. They got some Trader shirts on and just Russell Wilson. He'll probably get cheered coming in. And then, the 12s are going to get up, make the noise for their defense. But at this point in time, Russ does not cook in Seattle anymore, and he's in the Mile High City with the Denver Broncos. Um, so as we look at the game, the Broncos' offense against the Seattle defense, uh, Russ is going to have Cortland Sutton probably as his number one wide receiver. He's got Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler as his top three guys. Tyree Cleveland, who's a lot more of a special teams guy. Montreal Washington, who's an interesting guy they got in the fifth round this year. Keep an eye on him. His front line is going to be much better and protect him much more than he was probably in the past two seasons. I'd put it. Bolus at left tackle, Risner, and Billy Turner outside, and Quinn Merners, who was the third round pick last year out of Wisconsin Whitewater, will take over at right guard. Alberto, the tight end, and Javonte Williams. There's going to be a lot leaning on him as he's taking over that primary back role with Melvin Gordon as the backup, and Mike Boone, who's just a solid player, is the third string guy. So, good pieces there for us to cook with, or ingredients, we'll say. But on the defensive side for Seattle, Shelby Harris, who they got in that trade, along with Al Woods inside. Jordan Brooks getting a real opportunity to be that number one inside linebacker with Bobby Wagner moving on. And corner right now, Sidney Jones and Tariq Woolen, who was a fifth-round pick this year, is listed as the starter. And Kobe Bryant. No, not that Kobe Bryant. University of Cincinnati Kobe Bryant, who played opposite Sauce Gardner, will be at nickelback. Diggs and Jamal Adams, who just hasn't lived up to the trade, will be the safeties. So Russ is familiar with most of this group, just practicing, understanding what they do well. I'm sure Jamal Adams is going to be brought in on a lot of blitzes with the crowd noise. That's where he's at his best, is up at the line of scrimmage, making plays like that. And I'm curious if they're going to be able to get pressure now that they're a 3-4 defense. Darryl Taylor and Musu, who played it for the Chargers and has always been, a guy who goes in there and makes plays off the edge. Boye Mafe out of the University of Minnesota. I want to see how he is tonight. Good long edge rusher. See if he can get some pressure in there. So that's what we're going to see when Russ is on the field. With Nathaniel Hackett's offense, we saw it with Aaron Rodgers, but the adjustment that's going to be made, will there be some zone read out there? And, what's the split? Are we going to see Javonte get a lot of the carries early on and show that he's that workhorse back? Or is Melvin Gordon going to get that opportunity to, as the veteran, get his touches and still get an opportunity? So it'll be interesting to see. First quarter should be interesting. Russell Wilson with the nerves. Just see how he plays against his old crowd and go from there. I just think as the game goes on, he's going to get more comfortable, familiar with the offense. The crowd's out of it maybe a little bit more if you can get up. And he can, turn the tables on what he's had going on for years with the crowd noise. Actually quiet those people rather than excite them. Again, Ear to the Ground Sports, E2G Sports. We're live at the Airport Grill. See people coming in, pizzas, wings. I'm still burning from that buffalo chicken. Oh, my God. $5 Bud Light pitchers, half off wings, $10 pizzas. So we're ready to go here. Starting to get some people coming in, getting ready for this game. One of the games that everybody's been looking forward to this season. And to play it right off the top, pretty interesting. So What's left behind in Seattle? Drew Lock. A lot of people thought he was coming in. He was going to be the starter. Geno Smith is actually the starter tonight. The former Jet and West Virginia product. The wide receivers, we know Lockett, we know Metcalf. Keep an eye on D. Eskridge. And he was a second round pick last year. We'll see what his development is. He was from Western Michigan. Um, he'll be in that slot role. And is he somebody that Geno Smith looks to? Because if you remember Geno Smith in college, there was actually a game in college where he had 8 touchdowns and 6 incompletions. When he gets rolling and gets guys going down the field and getting open, he can get hot. I'm not calling him a great or a franchise quarterback, but he's one of those guys. If he gets hot and he gets an offense moving, look out. The big thing for Geno is going to be the protection in front of him. The interior guys are experienced. Damian Lewis, Austin Blythe, and Gabe Jackson. First and third round picks starting at left and right tackle, respectively. Charles Cross, first round pick. Left tackle, got the blind side. Abraham Lucas, local product, Washington State, third round pick. He will be the starting right tackle. So they're gonna go young and with youth. Not that that's not the same thing, but and the running back situation, we'll see if Kenneth Walker is dressed tonight. I know there's been injury situation, but if you saw him at Michigan State last year, he can be a real bell cow back, and he gets stronger as the game goes on and can also contribute in the pass game. Rashad Penny's also on the roster, and DJ Dallas. So they'll be up against a Denver defense that, Randy Gregory was kind of one of the big offseason pickups. We'll see if he plays tonight. Nick Bonito, second round pick out of Oklahoma. Could see the action if Randy Gregory doesn't go. Bradley Chubb, he's the star. He's a top 5 pick from 2018. And inside Josie Jewell and Jonas Griffin, who they were afraid they lost for the year. That secondary, they're going to have tough matchups. You got Metcalf and Lockett. So Patrick Surtain Jr. Will be one of the corners covering one of those guys. And Ronald Darby, who's been around the league but has always been kind of a consistent player out of Florida State. Big pickup for them was K'Wan Williams to be in the slot. And the secondary is really the defense. The quarterback of that defense is Justin Simmons, the former BC product, third round pick in 2016. Kareem Jackson is the other safety. Move from corner, he's an Alabama product. So these guys they're going to have matchups against a very physical receiver in DK Metcalf. And, Lockett just has that ability to move around, get open, deep ball too. So we'll see what the offense is trying to push for an issue. As we get back, see if there's any. So we'll get back to the Week 1 madness, and we'll talk a little bit about the Patriots game yesterday. 27 loss at Miami, Week 1, where it's always hot, and they never play well. Listening to Belichick just say it was a couple of plays, I just feel like it's kind of ironing over what happened. They just could not. I know a lot of it was the passing concepts. It seemed like every time there was a pass thrown, there was 2 guys, like in that general area. They weren't separated. There wasn't spacing. It was just very weird. And I feel like Hunter Henry, going in motion yesterday, ran about 45 miles yesterday in the heat. So we'll see how he is. But that's more of the Jonnu Smith role, is the move tight end. And Henry try to be inside, get linebackers, get safeties, and run those routes where he's at his best. Kendrick Bourne was a big topic of conversations just because he didn't get on the field until late, caught a deep ball, was on for 2 plays, and then off the field. They went to Devontae Parker early. Probably should have been a flag on that, but they let him play. They let him play on the outside. And, if you're going to set a threshold, set it early. Don't bounce back and forth. And I felt like they let them be physical both ways yesterday. The pass rush, Judon, I thought, had a pretty good game. Dietrich Wise was all over the field. I don't understand why Tavaye is on the field at all, ever. I don't know why he has a roster spot. I don't know why he has a jersey, a locker room, anything. But you saw Malk Wilson come in and be kind of that physical presence and make some plays later on. And him and Duggar are very similar. There's not much of a size difference. They play well coming forward, able to avoid blocks, read their keys, and get into a play. So we need to see more Mac Wilson and less Tavaye. That is a given. The offensive line, Cole Strange was pulled early. Ferentz was put in at left guard. That's when we had the strip sack for a touchdown. Melvin Ingram, after Jones's hit, put him down 10-0. And then just, poor angle by Kyle Duggar on Jalen Waddle on that 4th and 7 play. For whatever reason, Tua owns this team. He gets out there, he sees it well. And I don't know if anybody else noticed, but it wasn't until like the second or third quarter where he started throwing to the right. Everything was to the left. Tyreek Hill in motion, getting that running start, getting that speed going, and really putting the defensive back on skates, where if you don't have safety help, you got to drop back and make that play. And he's going to catch in front of you and do something. Good to see the crowd starting to file in. E2G Sports here live at the airport grill as I get my tongue feeling back. $10 pizzas, half off wings, $5 Bud Light pitchers, as scrolled along the bottom. And if you make predictions tonight during the game, I'm going to ask before drives, maybe who's going to score the touchdown. If there is a touchdown, how many plays in the drive it'll take. And we'll give away pitchers and prizes for that. So come on, get down here. Kickoff is about 8:15. Russell Wilson going back to Seattle as the new member of the Denver Broncos and quarterback. Just some Russell Wilson memories. If you go back, he's drafted in 2012 in the third round. He was at NC State, went to Wisconsin. At the end, transferred over after graduating. Played a year there, got picked in the third round. And Seattle at that point in time, Pete Carroll, they had picked up Matt Flynn as a free agent from the Green Bay Packers, who had come off a monster game at the end of the year before. I believe it was against Detroit. He had a good game in 2010 here against New England in the Dan Connolly kickoff return game. He played well in that game against Brady, and that went right down to the end. That was the year that the Packers won the Super Bowl, 2010. And Rush just, he built and built, and he got himself to 2012 and almost got to the conference championship game with Atlanta really pulling it out late. I remember watching that inside Gillette Stadium for the Houston, New England divisional round game. It was the early game. And San Francisco, the next week they would have played, but San Francisco ended up going to the Super Bowl with Colin Kaepernick. And then in 2013, it really all gelled. There was a lot of good pieces there. You had Marshawn Lynch. He was able to rely on Lynch, guys like Golden Tate, and just they Percy Harvin's another guy who was on that roster too in 2013. But it was that defense. I mean, they really carried it that year. You remember the interception at the end of the NFC Championship game, Richard Sherman on Michael Crabtree, the tip pick, and they won it in 13, and then in 14 they have the comeback against the Packers, win the game in overtime, and they put it in his hands in the Super Bowl. Us in New England, we remember it as the Malcolm Butler play. Um, Out in Seattle, they may have, it hurt, but it was the moment that the franchise kind of went from depending on someone like Marshawn Lynch as the running back to put it in Russ's hands and try to make things happen. And there were a few tough years after that. There was a lot of bickering, ill will between some of the defensive players who thought Marshawn should have gotten the ball. And as that group broke up, Earl Thomas is gone. Sherman's gone. He signs with San Francisco. Cam Chancellor is gone. It becomes Russ's team and more of an offensive team with the pieces. And, it does a pretty good job. He gets them to, gets them into the playoffs, win some divisions. Doesn't necessarily get back into the Super Bowl. But he became, the jersey that everybody had other than the 12s. Symbolic of the fans, but that number 3 Russell Wilson jersey is very popular out there. That's what everybody's getting. He's becoming an elite quarterback. He's a dual threat. He's just making plays. He's winning games at the end. But we started to hear rumors a few years ago. There was a possible trade of him to Cleveland for the first overall pick. And I only heard last week that Seattle would have taken Josh Allen with that pick, not Baker Mayfield. So I found that pretty interesting. And then there was talk he was going to go to the Giants, and Sierra wanted to get to New York. And finally, things happen. The Aaron Rodgers trade doesn't happen after Nathaniel Hackett goes to Denver. And next thing you know, later on that same day that you hear Aaron Rodgers isn't going to Denver, Russell Wilson, I remember sitting there like totally stunned. I called my people at Mile High Sports, where I appear on. I was like, "You guys heard this, right?" They're like, "We're just seeing it." And we went live here at E2G Sports, and we were stunned. I mean, the number 9 overall pick goes that way. And, it's just a changing. Like, I was kind of surprised that was the place. If he ultimately chose, it ended up being Denver. I really thought it was going to be a bigger city, somewhere where Sierra could, perform and live. And my thought always was the Giants. I always thought he was going to be a New York Giant. He won a Super Bowl in that stadium, and the biggest market, and just the marketability he could have had for himself. So he'll be in Denver, definitely for the next 5 years. They'll hold on to him. Just reading the contract, there's a lot of not ability to get out of it, to say the least, or he won't be traded. So, it's Russell Wilson for the next 5 years in Denver, and they're going to be going for it. New ownership. So, they give him the contract last week, pay him up, got pieces around him, Sutton, Hamler, Jerry Jeudy, build up that offensive line. A little bit more help maybe along the defensive line, help Chubb and Gregory and Nick Bonito. I think that would be a good start. Maybe next year in the draft, you got to see something out of Draymond Jones. He was a very talented player at Ohio State. So he's a guy, if I'm the Broncos, I really need a lot more out of. And you have Justin Simmons on the back end, Kareem Jackson. Patrick Surtain is shutting down half a field Ronald Darby's a consistent pro. We talked about him a little while ago. Been around, but he's consistent. Oh yeah, and don't forget that it's Joe Buck and Troy Aikman tonight on ESPN for Monday Night Football. So they make their debut with Russell Wilson in Seattle. Any comments, questions? Feel free to join us. Ear to the Ground Sports, E2G Sports, live at the Airport Grill. Again tonight, $10 pizzas, half off wings, $5 Bud Light pitchers. If you get the buffalo chicken pizza, let it cool down a little. It is good though. That was good stuff. Rafi, you've outdone yourself again, my man. Just on the wing sauces, Gold Rush, sweet chili, Korean barbecue sounds like an interesting one. I may try that one tonight, and Jamaican jerk just to get a feel. So come on down, join us here at the Airport Grill. I see some people sitting out there now, getting their spots. We only open for the game tonight, so it's usually a night that's closed. Plane just landed, a little bit of everything. So we'll go a little while longer, and I'll be here tonight. I'll talk to everybody. You want to talk about your fantasy team, just football in general. I'll be here for the night, and just I'm just seeing because I got a message here, but it's in the private chat, so it's somebody who has the ability to get in. Score prediction. I 27-20 Denver. I think Geno Smith is going to have his hands on the ball at the end of the game, and there'll be either an interception or fourth down non-conversion, incompletion, and that's how it's going to end. 27-20. So we'll have some fun with this game. Probably get some plays both sides of the ball. Your big name receivers all making plays. See how Javonte Williams is as the lead back in Denver. And see if Kenneth Walker gets on the field. I'm going to try to get you the inactives. That'll be one of the last things I do here. So we'll see who the inactives are tonight. There was curiosity about Randy Gregory. He's kind of been in and out of the lineup for the preseason. 11 minutes ago. So we will. And again, join us down here. Billy Turner, inactive. That's the ad. Somebody's going to Vietnam and they're bringing a beer. Billy Turner, Josie Jewell are the two big missing, and no Kenneth Walker tonight. Damian Lewis, one of the starting guards, is not playing. Artie Burns, further down the roster, not playing. Isaiah Dunn. Long snapper Tyler Ott. That's weird. I don't think I've ever seen a long snapper inactive unless they have two of them. Yeah, they have two of them. So Carson Tinker. Oh, he was injured, so they had a second guy in just in case. But Carson Tinker will be snapping tonight. So definitely get your calls into your bookie after hearing that. We saw what a snap did yesterday in a game, though. Totally threw everything off in Cincinnati with a long snapper getting injured. Any questions you have? Ear to the Ground Sports, live here at the Airport Grill. Kickoff 8:15. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman on the call. Pre-game show is pretty boisterous outside. Robert Griffith is part of the pregame now. I'm just trying to see what the show Aaron Rodgers highlights. I was like, there's a glare, and I couldn't tell what they were showing. So, yeah, he is a guy who's definitely elevated himself in the analyst role, and I enjoy listening to him, both college and pro. Marcus Spears, Steve Young, Adam Schefter. So we'll see. Now they revolved the crew a little bit. But this is, it's got a big game feel. Just the background that they did the pregame outside with the crowd. Oh, and you get Larry Fitz. Who's better than him? Score, Jason. Everyone's saying the Patriots moved the ball well, but the bottom line is they only scored 7 points. Not good. Yep. That's where results matter. And I was very surprised with what Bill had to say today, that it was a couple of plays that really changed it. Could there have been a flag on that play to Parker? Absolutely. There wasn't. They set, they set the measuring stick early on with how they were going to call the game. As far as the defensive backs and the wide receivers, they were going to let them play physical. Carl Davis jumping offside was absolutely awful. You cannot be over the ball and be the guy who jumps offside. Bad angle by Duggar on the Waddle touchdown, but he truly, in the big picture, I have a lot of faith in Duggar and the way he plays as a missile, just coming up and making plays. And someone said today he's a liability in coverage, and I've seen some picks that he's made just reading the quarterback very well. Last year against Baker Mayfield was one of them. Just, that ability to keep his eyes on the quarterback, understand route concepts, and jump something. So, he's third year. He's a guy who's developed pretty well. You'd call him a win as far as being a draft pick. And, he comes out of Lenoir-Rhyne and does something like that. So, arrow up on him. Definitely arrow up. 7 points is not ideal. There weren't many teams in the league. Green Bay scored 7, but Christian Watson, that was an unbelievable play. Ball put right in his hands. And that's a way to put yourself in Aaron Rodgers' doghouse pretty early, is to drop a deep ball like that and just totally kill momentum when you go out there and make the play. Romeo Doubs didn't get as much time as I thought he would, or as many passes. Lazard was out. They just seem like a team that if Aaron Rodgers is not getting it early, he's not afraid to fold the tent and go home. Sorry, he's a quitter. It's truly what I feel. That block punt in the playoffs last year after that, the next 3 plays he threw into the ground, he went and sulked on the sidelines, and San Francisco won the game. So, just, I don't know, not an Aaron Rodgers guy. Chicago winning yesterday was a little bit of a surprise over San Francisco, but I am not a Trey Lance guy. I do not think he's good. I think Jimmy will be the quarterback week 5, week 6, if they want to salvage the season. I still don't believe they took him 3rd overall with some of the guys who were on the board, or that they mortgaged the future to get up to number 3, to get Trey Lance. Just very much so. A lot of people wanted to make the Steve McNair comparison. Nope. McNair was a special breed, and the size too. He was a big boy. Looked like a fullback coming at you when he wasn't throwing the ball. Great pick by Floyd Reese, by the way. Good job. Just going around the league beside that, Buffalo on opening night. They walk into the champ's house. They bring about 10,000 of Bill's Mafia and go out there and make plays. And they really went at Ramsey. They were not afraid. And what I learned in that game is they're going to throw to their guys. They're going to call their plays. They're going to run their offense, and they don't care who's on the other side. And to see Cook fumble on the first play and not really get back on the field, I'm curious how far down the doghouse he is. We'll see this next Monday night when we're back here. It's actually a doubleheader. 7:15, the Titans at the Bills, and 8:30, Minnesota at the Eagles. So pretty interesting. They're going with a doubleheader. Usually it's this week that we get the doubleheader. There'd be a game on now, and then like a 10 o'clock kickoff out west somewhere. They didn't do that this year, which was kind of a surprise, but maybe they really wanted to get the total attention on Russell Wilson going home. So we got a few more minutes here, live at the Airport Grill, New Bedford Airport. Open just for the game. People inside enjoying pizza. Half price wings. It's $10 pizza, half price wings, and $5 Bud Light pitchers. Here to see Russell Wilson go back. And Russ isn't the only one who can cook. This staff can too. Everything always comes out good. And we're going to have a commercial probably Thursday night when we're back here for the Chief Chargers game with the dessert that they're making. That is unbelievable. If you're a fan of the Facebook page, you will see that. And I'm just going to move this for 1 second just so. So we're back and just getting ready. Score prediction again was 27-20. I'm going to go with Denver and a road win with Russell Wilson getting the best of his old team. On the defensive side of the ball, Justin Simmons. I got a feeling he's going to be involved in a lot. Whether it's he has like 11 tackles, a pass defense. Maybe they bring him on a blitz because they're not afraid to do that. He gets half a sack or causes a disruption. I think he's going to be a very important player tonight, especially with the receivers outside. And Geno Smith is a guy who likes to go downfield and take chances. And they'll be playing against their old teammate in Noah Fant, the Iowa product traded over in the Russell Wilson trade, along with Shelby Harris and Drew Lock, who is the backup quarterback to Geno Smith tonight. We'll see what Pete Carroll has in mind because they really wanted to get Drew Lock in there as the starter. He got COVID. He was out. And things just never really materialized. And Geno Smith ended up with the starting job. Again, I saw none of their training camp or preseason stuff. So I'm just going off what I read and heard. I'm not going to lie. I was watching Seattle training camp on some network. So we're here, Airport Grill. 8:15 kickoff. $10 pizzas, buffalo chicken, cheeseburger, meat lovers, bacon, and cheese. Those are two separate thoughts, although you can combine them. And the half-price wings and $5 Bud Light pitchers. Again, if you're here tonight, maybe before the drive, I'll ask how many plays. If there's a touchdown on this drive, doesn't matter which team, how many plays is it going to take? And we'll award some prizes for stuff like that. And also enter for the opportunity for Patriots tickets. So we're here. So we're going to wrap up pretty soon here just to let people get over to the network, get things established. Again, close out week 1 and we move on to week 2. And just our schedule here. Thursday, we will be back here. Chargers at Chiefs, Thursday Night Football. And I cannot think of what streaming service it is on, but we do have it here, so we will have the game. Next Sunday we'll be here. Pat Steelers is the early 1 o'clock game. We'll have on here. Good menu, everything ready to go, cold drinks. And next Monday night, as I stated, is a doubleheader with the Titans at the Bills and the second game, Minnesota and Justin Jefferson against A.J. Brown and the Philadelphia Eagles. Two guys who had really good receiving games yesterday. I got these noise canceling headphones on now, so you can't hear the plane, but there's one. It started up right there, so I can hear it. I don't know if you can. All right. Thank you for everybody for your comments tonight, your support. Meet me down here. You got an hour to come down here and hang out tonight, and we'll have some fun watching some football. And we got the volume up, ready to go. Listen to that crowd noise, and they're showing Tom Brady going back last year to Foxborough and some of the returns of quarterbacks going, back to their home, their former teams, with their new teams, and that was one that definitely stands out in this area, but one of the most recent ones. All right, at E2G founder, at E2G Sports. Any articles? E2GSports.com. New site is being constructed now. We'll have it up and ready for you. That is a serious plane right there. That is one of those private ones that stopped here for fuel. So we'll be back here Thursday night. Probably a 6:45 start. We'll go 6:45 to 7:45. Myself and a special guest. I did have somebody lined up from Seattle tonight, and they had to cancel last minute because they were not able to hear a thing. And getting into that stadium tonight, I guess there's a lot of tight security. So I don't know anything more if something was said, but tight security. Again, Ear to the Ground Sports. Thank you for watching tonight. Monday Night Football at the Airport Grill. We'll see you Thursday night, 6:45 p.m. for the Chiefs and Chargers. And that's our next Airport Grill show. Tomorrow, first formation, 10 a.m. The GM show, 6 o'clock. And the night shift at 9:30. So stay here with the E2G Sports Network. Like, subscribe, love, hug, whatever you got to do. All right, buddy Android, I'm out. And come join me at the Airport Grill for Monday Night Football. Have a good night, everybody. We're E2G Sports. # Unsung Sports Grid.